Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys Right, and today I'm in the 2025 Toyota Camry, and this is the XSE trim level. And this is the ultimate guide to learn your car's tech in minutes, not months. Today, I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started. Today, we're working with our friends at Lead Card Toyota in beautiful Mankato, Minnesota. All right, so the dashboard is a beautiful 12.3-inch digital screen, and it's very, very similar to what we see in the Crown. Right now, over on the left, you've got basically a battery gauge. It's telling you whether it's charging it, whether you're driving economically, or whether it's using battery power. In the middle, you've got a configurable area for information. And then over on the far right, of course, you got your digital speedometer, and right now it shows your trip distance. At the very top, you've got your outdoor ambient temperature, you've got your clock. At the very bottom, you've got your odometer. It says 32 miles. And then you got your engine temperature. And on the right, you've got your fuel gauge. And then, of course, you've got your gear selector indicator. And that's also in the middle of the screen. Now, you notice when I press on the brakes, you see your taillights illuminating in the dashboard, which I think is nice. Now, I can't confirm this, but I'm going to guess that if ever your brake lights go out, either that's one of those is going to flash or it's just not going to show up as a warning. All right. Now, to control all the stuff in the screen here, we're going to use the 4 arrows and the OK button and the back button. Okay. So I'll point out quickly, this is your voice command. This is your volume up and down. And then this one is your phone. Okay. So first of all, let's just start in the middle because you can configure all 3 areas. So let's start in the middle here. If I just press the down arrow, okay, this is view 1. I'm going to use the left arrow, and I went to view 3. Now you notice that although the gauges stayed the same, the information inside them changed as well as what was in the middle. And then I'm going to go one more to screen 2. And again, okay, so there the information stayed the same, but you can change that. So basically, this is 3 quick views that you can just flick between. Okay? Now, if anytime you want to change them, okay, you can press and hold OK. Okay, and then you can go over here and you can select something different. Okay, and then let's go back to the middle and let's select something different. Oh, well, I guess we'll leave it on driver support. Okay, and then over on the far right, let's just pick something else. There. Now, that is automatically saved in my view. So if I click away from here, go to 3, and I come back to 2, it's there. So in whatever mode that you're in, view, like I call this view, view 1, view 2, or view 3, when you get there, simply press and hold OK, go make the changes, and it's automatically saved. So basically, you have 3 favorite screens that you can flick to very, very easily with the basic information that you want. To change any of these areas, you're going to have to press and hold OK. Now, here you just get a calm screen, okay, where nothing shows up. Right? If I go down again, oops, I waited too long. It does disappear fairly quickly. You can have driving support on, which is going to include your adaptive cruise control. One of the new things is in previous Toyotas, you only had 3 gap levels for driving with dynamic radar cruise control, but now you have 4. And that's part of Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. All right. I can also then, I'm going to press and hold OK. And I'm going to go down. I can go into settings, which I'll get back to in a minute, and then any messages the vehicle has. All right, so pretty much driving support is going to be your main screen in the middle. But let's go here to settings and let's press OK. Now, this is where you can make quick changes to all of your, or a lot of your safety systems, right? So there's just, there's a lot. So if I click here, safety exit assist off. All right, so what that's going to do is going to use your blind spot warning in your mirrors to warn you if you're parked and you're going to open a door. So it tells you something's coming. So that is a really nice one. I'm going to show you how to get it back on again. You just hit the back button, turn this, and it's back on. Okay, roadside assistance. Now, if you watch the POV, I mentioned this, but this will read not only the traffic speed limit signs, but it's going to tell you when there's a stop sign. It's also going to tell you when there's a crosswalk, and it gives you a warning. So those are both on and off. Okay, I'm going to go back up to these other ones. Now, these are all on or off. This one's pedestrian detection assistant. I'm going to leave that one on. And then I'm going to go up here because this one is not just an on-off. So I'm going to click OK. I have to hold it, I guess. And now I can turn it on or off. But if it's on, I can say what kind of alert options do I want? Do I want a speaker, like a tone, or do I want a vibrating steering wheel? And then the alert timing. Okay, so it can be this is default setting, and this is earlier. Okay, so I'm going to hit the back button here, and then I'm going to go down to this one because I'm going to press and hold OK. And then you can adjust the warning timing, and you can actually turn it off. And this is the pre-collision system. I'd really suggest leaving that on. I want to go down here to vehicle settings. Click on it. Click and hold again. Okay. If you wanted to suggest when you should take a break, if you're weaving a little bit in the road, in the lane, or you're taking your hands off the steering wheel a lot, leave this on. If you don't like that, turn this off by clicking OK. All right, dynamic radar cruise control. You can set how vigorously it accelerates once it's had to slow down. And of course, you just click the OK button. That would be minimum acceleration, better for your economy. And there's the setting I would leave it at. But that, depending on the car, that can really kind of take off. So be careful using it, is what I'm saying. If you're in stop and go traffic and someone disappears and your cruise is set at 65, you're going to go forward very quickly. So just something to keep in mind. All right. Do you want guide messages on or off? Curve speed reduction. This is able to slow down for curves, which I didn't experience that with this car today. I've been in other cars, and frankly, I kind of find it annoying. That's me. But you can at least set the sensitivity by clicking OK here. So this is the least sensitive, and maybe that would be good. And then that's off, and then that's high, and then that would be medium. All right, I'm going to hit the back button here in a minute. Tire pressure settings. Okay, tire set switching. Are you doing tire rotation? You want to set the tire pressures or the pressure unit setting. Okay, and it's a simple click of the OK button. All right. As with a lot of Toyotas, you got an area for scheduled maintenance, and here you can either reset it or not. All right, oil maintenance. Okay, and here I just click on it, and it gives me the option to reset it if I want. Just click OK, hit the back button. Rear seat reminder. When you shut off the car, it's going to just remind you to check the rear seats. If for some reason you don't want that, you can just press OK and click that off. Stop light display. Okay, you noticed when I go like this, I get my brakes. If you don't want that, you can turn that feature off right there. Personally, I like it, but you can turn it on or off. Now, The other thing is the meter settings, and this is what's going to affect how your driver's information screen looks. So I'm going to press and hold. Now I can change language. I can change units. I'll show you those quickly. Just select the one you want and press OK. But the one I want to get down to is meter type and meter style. So on meter type, I can have what we've already seen, or I can have this view where it kind of puts the gauge in the middle. And then it says widget. Well, if I turn widget on, do you notice right on the left and the right, it's adding extra information. So it's adding media on the right, and then it's adding miles per gallon on the left. So I'm just going to leave that one on for now. We're going to hit the back button, and we're going to go up to this screen, which then gives you this. You notice the widgets went away, but if you want them in this screen, you can turn those back on again. Okay, so that is one quick way just to change the look of your screen. Now I'm going to go back here. Okay, and I'm going to hit the back button because I'm going to leave it there. And I want to go down to meter style. All right, so right now we're in smart. We can have it look casual, tough, and sporty. So those are all the different options that you can have there. The back button, dial type. Right now it's set to the hybrid system, but if you want a regular TAC, you can just click here. And now you've got a regular TAC. Okay, so that's all the ways there that you can basically change the look of your dashboard here. The EV symbol, if it's EV ready, you can turn that off if you don't like seeing that all the time. Fuel economy, you can set it here to be trip average or total average. And then the hybrid system, you can have eco guidance on or off. So it's going to tell you to brake more gently or more firmly or whatever. So if you don't like that guidance, this is where to turn that off. All right, we're going to go back. We're going to keep going down. Drive info items. Okay, so you can have distance or total time. And if you select total time, you can do average speed or total time. I mean, it's kind of redundant because you're getting the same thing right here. But anyways, let's go back. Trip A and trip B. Okay, so if I can have the distance be just the distance or total time. And then if I hit the back button and for average speed, I can have average speed or total time. And if I select total time, I also can set distance. Okay. So that's the same for trip A, trip B. Pop-up display. So this one, these are all the things that pop up on your dashboard that interrupt your driving to notify you of certain things. So, like, for instance, turn-by-turn navigation, you probably want that on, okay? Telephone, you probably want to know if you got a telephone call. Audio operation, well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. That one, probably you do, but I would say volume operation. Do you really need to see that you're turning the volume down? You know, you should be, you should be able to hear that. We're going to go back here because I clicked on a button. I'm going to turn that back on. Let's see what else we have control over. Voice control, if it'll pop up on your dashboard as well. And then the brightness display when you turn the screen up or down, which that control is over on the far left of the steering wheel on the dashboard. And you can just, yeah, there is a down button and an up button, but it doesn't seem to matter which one you push. It's just, it goes down and then it goes up. All right. Let's go back. And we got something else down here. Oh, default settings. So in case something happens, someone borrowed the car, really change your settings, you can always go back here, press OK, and reset everything to the factory settings. All right. Now, that being said, okay, I'm gonna go back up here and leave this on driving support. But I want to show you again, if you press and hold OK and you get this picture in the middle, use your arrow to go to the left. And if you use the arrow to go to the left again, now you can determine what is going to show up inside the left gauge. And I'm going to tell you that pretty much it's exactly the same. Your choices for what can display are the same in the left gauge as they are the right gauge. So the whole idea is you kind of split them and have some things show up in the left and some things show up on the right. Easy for me to say. All right. So it's a very easy thing. If I don't want eco score, I just press OK. Anything with a blue check mark is going to display inside this gauge. I can turn driving support on. Okay, navigation, and then audio. Let's see, trip info, drive info, trip A, trip B, energy monitor, tire pressure, and all-wheel drive, all turned off. Okay, and in terms of driving support. So I'm going to take my arrow for a minute, and I'm going to go here, here, and here, and there, and I'm going to bet, look over here. Driving support's turned on. Drive info, trip A, they don't want trip B, but you could have that, and energy monitor. So the things that were shut off over here were turned on the other side. So again, simple click, and then let me show you. This is what you are going to see then. These are the choices. So if you take one away, if you take eco score away, eco score won't show up here. Okay? And you can also have it blank. So, I mean, just a lot of things in here. It's just really, really neat. They've really done a good job on this screen of giving you lots of information to play with. But at the same time, not making it difficult to get to. So, that is the driver's screen. Next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. Now, the infotainment screen is another 12.3 inches, and it really makes for a nice interface. Now, this is not Google built in. This is Toyota's latest multimedia experience. And if you're looking at a new car, let me just give you some things to think about. If you buy a car that's Google based or called Google built in, you have Google Maps, you got, Google Assistant, you have access to the Play Store, lots of really great features, okay? But you got to remember that you only get a free trial for X number of time, and check with your dealership because it varies from manufacturer to manufacturer. I've seen it goes like as long as 8 years, like your trial subscription. And I've seen it go as short as 6 months. So you're going to have to pay a fee, a monthly ongoing fee to keep your Google Maps, your Google Voice Assistant, and the Google Play Store. Toyota's taken a different route with this. This is theirs. This is all theirs. Okay, so you're going to get it. I believe if you want to have like traffic services and that kind of stuff, there might be an extra fee, but the navigation stuff is always there. So is your voice command. So it's, it's just something to be aware of with new cars. All right. So as far as physical buttons go, there's only one, and it's this one. So you got your volume, okay, and then you got power. So if I got push and hold, it's going to go off. Now, to get it back on, it's not going to be a tap on the screen. Rather, it's going to be push the power button, and it's going to come back up. Now, other than that, that is the only control for the whole infotainment screen. Everything else is touch. So, here is the way it's set up. You've got these icons on the left that pretty much just stay there. Apple CarPlay will become Android Auto if that's what you're using, or that will disappear altogether if you don't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto running. On the first one here, navigation, I can't get into it. You need to set it up through your Toyota app, and I'm not going to go through all that, but I can tell you I've seen it in action on other cars. It's very liquid. It's very smooth. It works really well. So it's a great system, and you will be able to, give voice commands to it as far as like where to navigate, that kind of stuff. And you can do other features of that, but we'll get to that in a minute. But that's navigation. Can't really get into it with on the screen. So media. So if I click on sources, I got right now on Nathan's phone, I can do radio. I can do, here we are in radio. My phone, which is not going to run currently because it's filming, and that doesn't work well. So you've got Apple Music if you want to sign into that. That's a subscription. You got Amazon Music. I'm going to go back to radio. All right, and I'm going to go through just the basics. For instance, how do you tune? Well, to start with, you can go here, and you can search for FM, AM, or Sirius XM stations, and you can type in the number. All right, and then you say tune to channel. Or you can just go straight to the source, and you can say, all right, well, let's see. I can scroll through here to see my options, and when I find one, okay, I can just go ahead and click on it. Okay? And then I can go by channel here if I want. All right? Then, if I go back here with the back arrow, I can do by categories. Okay? I can also tell it to scan, so it'll scan to the next station, and then it'll scan to the next station, and then it will scan to the next station. You just press the scan button again when you get to a station that you like. All right, now, let me go back again so I can show you AM radio. Okay, it's going to work the same way. You got the scrolling ability down here. You can do categories here. Let's say I tune in here. I get the same channel and scan options. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you Sirius XM, and it looks very much the same. But this time, because there's so many more stations, you're going to go up or down. You simply click on what you want, and there it is. Now, once that's popped up, you can go by channel, right? And you can also do a lot of other things with SiriusXM, which I won't get into, but that's how you're going to tune. Now, let's say that you want to make a favorite. It's very easy. You just go up here and click the heart. Okay, in fact, I'm going to go back and I'm going to make a couple more a heart as well. Okay, and then if you notice, when I clicked the heart on, it automatically took me to my favorites. So the question is, how do you get to favorites if you're not there? Well, it's right here. Remember where I was clicking for the sources? It's right above that. So if I click here and I go in here, and then I'm in this screen with all my favorites, I hit edit. Okay, I can do two things. I can delete it, or I can grab this 3 sets of bars, push and hold for a second, and I can change the favorites location. I love when they make it that simple. And then just click done editing. All right. Volume, of course, is right here. The other question I'd like to cover is, well, how do you do the sound? For that, you're going to go down to settings, and you're going to go down to sound and media. Now, auto sound levelizer. This one automatically increases the sound in the vehicle and automatically decreases the volume in the vehicle depending on the outdoor ambient noise. How sensitive that is can be set here, or you can turn the whole thing off. Say, nope, I'll manually fix the volume myself. All right. Sound tuning. Treble, mid, bass, and it's just a click drag. Okay? This does have a 6-speaker audio system from Toyota. You can upgrade to a 9-speaker JBL audio system. All right, balance and fade is right here, and it's just a click drag. And what I love is there's the recenter button. There it is. right there. And it puts it right back in the center. Okay. And then under media, you can display that cover art. If you're not sure what cover art is, well, cover art is this. Okay. It's the picture that shows up. All right. Under the vehicle button, you've got four things, plus a search button. So under climate, in the front, here we go. We can set all these things here, including the fan speed. But fan speed, you're still going to have to do physically with this button. You can change where's the S-flow. Now it's only to the front seats. Only to the front occupied seats. So there is really no one over here. So it's blowing it out towards me. Now, under options, you can have eco heat and cool, which is going to, it's not going to cool as well. It's not going to heat as well, but it'll be more economical. So depending on what your preferences are, you can set them here. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to comfort. All right. So if I click auto here, it's going to auto heat the steering wheel, meaning I get out and the car senses it's, 40 degrees out and the steering wheel's a little cold. It's probably going to turn it on. Definitely going to turn it on if it's below 32. Okay. If you want to physically turn the steering wheel, heat the steering wheel on or off, then don't push that, because there is a physical button to do that as well. Let's go back here. Trip information. If you want to run this while you're driving, it gives you something interesting to look at. But you should be paying attention to the road, but maybe your passenger does. So there's just some vehicle information. We'll go back. Vehicle alert. There are none. This will be any alert your vehicle wants to send you. You have low tire pressure, although that'll show up in the driver's dash too. Time to change oil. Time to change your cabin air filter. That kind of stuff is going to show up there. All right. And then I'm going to get back to phone here a minute, because I am going to set up, I'm going to disconnect this phone, show you how to do that. And then I'm going to set up an Android phone to show you Android Auto. And it's the same process for Apple CarPlay. So if you have an iPhone, you can still follow these same steps. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go to devices. And I'm going to go to manage devices. And I'm going to click on this one. And then I want to point out something, because you can decide, like, if you hook two phones to it, both phones cannot use Apple CarPlay at the same time. I can very easily say, you know what? I'm not the primary driver. I'm going to use mine for media only. In fact, if I get a phone call, I don't want it going through the system. I want to just pick up my phone. So I'm going to only use it for media. And that's where you make those sentences. You turn off Apple CarPlay, you turn on use for media. Okay, so I can just do this. Yep, session is ended. Yep, we know that. And then now it's going to be used for media only. All right. But if you ever sell the car, don't just disconnect it. Tell it to forget every phone you've ever hooked to it. All right. So there we go. Now that my Android is waking up, I am going to press search for devices on here, and I'm going to connect my Samsung Galaxy to this. For some reason, my Bluetooth is not working on my phone here. This should absolutely connect, and you saw my iPhone connect, because it's not the vehicle. So what I'm going to do is I've plugged in my Android with a cable, and I'm just going to plug in right here, and that should go ahead and set me up pretty much automatically. So if I just wait for a second, there's Android Auto. On my phone, I got some messages, so keep watching your phone, and we should be good. There we go. Now, the advantage to doing this through Bluetooth, okay, is that you can then just set your phone on the wireless charger, and you don't have cables sitting out. right? Since my Android phone was having trouble with the Bluetooth, though, I could just, I hooked up through the USB-A. There's two USB-Cs, one USB-A. It's a USB-A input that you want. You can see I'm having difficulties with reception as well. So lovely. Okay, but this is Android Auto. I absolutely love it. It takes up the full screen, folks. That is awesome. That doesn't always happen. If you've never used Android Auto or Apple CarPlay before, think of it as a Bluetooth connection that allows you to see your phone's screen up here. Now, you're not going to see all of your apps. It's going to do any app that does audible media. So, audible books, navigation, music sources, Pandora, Amazon Prime, whatever you use, it's going to show, it'll play up here and it'll show. Let me show you how it's laid out. This is your most recently used items. This is access to your Google Assistant on your phone. And if I press this, this gives me a split screen. So right now, if my navigation had reception, I would be seeing Waze navigation up here, and then music here, and then notifications right there. Lots of ways I could go into explain how to use this, but if you've used whatever navigation app you use on your phone, it'll be here. Now I'm going to press the dice one more time, and you're going to see the navigation squeeze over, and then here I have all the apps. So for instance, I have Google Maps. So if that's what you use, it works the same way on the screen. The difference is you don't have to pick up your phone and go figure it out and then set your phone somewhere. It'll show right up here, full screen, okay? So that is Android Auto. And now when I unplug my phone, you're going to watch that disappear. There we go. So going back to phone for a minute, this is what it would kind of look like if you were just on Bluetooth, okay? Favorites, contacts, recents, keypad, you can dial from here. But this is why Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are so much nicer. So if you haven't used those, I'd really encourage you to try to use them. I think you're going to love them. Just park in your driveway and run the car a bit and practice. So now let's dive into the last category here, which is settings. Now you've noticed there's no home button whatsoever. It's just these 4 buttons. Okay, so this is the driver profile. Currently it's saved to me. I can edit. I can sign out to guest mode. I can hit edit, and then I can manage, and then I can link like phones and stuff to my profile if I want. Let's look at Bluetooth and devices. We've already done that, so I'm not going to go any more into that. Under general, okay, do you want the screen to beep every time you touch it? Well, if you like that, you can do that. Screen sensitivity. If you're operating a vehicle in winter or colder, and you're wearing gloves and your screen isn't very sensitive, this is where you increase that. This is a feature we don't see very often, but Toyota has it, and that's the most sensitive. Okay, date and time you can set here, but of course I'm just going to show you that you can click on the clock, and it takes you right to the same place. Okay, this is where you're going to make all your settings there. Keyboard. If you've used the keyboard to do a bunch of searching and you're selling the car, this is a good place to come and say clear search history. This gets rid of it out of the built-in navigation. You don't have to worry about your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto because that is stored on your phone, not on the vehicle. And then here's where you can do language and units. Okay? Now, it's interesting. The measurements, is set automatically based on regional location, which would mean if you drove to another country that used, say, kilometers per hour, it would automatically convert to kilometers per hour. And then this is where you can choose your languages. All right, let's go back. That, I believe, was under general. Yep. So then the next one is notifications, and again, this is just where you make the settings for notifications. So this has over-the-air updates, including over-the-air updates to Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which is a new thing. Okay, do you want software updates or not? If you don't, you can turn it off. Vehicle suggestions. Okay, well, if you turn that on, you can say I want it on all the time, just when I'm stopped, like at a stoplight, or off. Okay. Virtual assistant. Do you want that on or completely off? And let me demonstrate what the virtual assistant can do. So we're going to see if it's set right, and it should be. Hey Toyota, tune to 105.5 FM. And it's done it. If I go to FM radio, there we go. So that's what your virtual assistant can do. Okay, including plotting navigation routes. You can say, hey, Toyota, I want to go navigate to take me to the closest Dairy Queen, or navigate to this address, and then you name the address. Or if it's in your phone contacts and you have an address assigned to that contact, you can say navigate to Marge's, and it'll find Marge in your contacts, figure out the address, and program in the route. So really, really nice. There is a voice command button on the left side of the steering wheel as well that you can use. And if your phone is connected and you press and hold the voice command button, it'll activate either Siri or your Google Assistant, depending on if you have Apple or an Android phone. All right. Of course, this car is 4G Wi-Fi hotspot capable. You can also hook to your home's Wi-Fi. Okay? You turn that on, it's going to start to search for networks. Okay? This is the vehicle hotspot. That, of course, costs per month. You get a trial period, and then it costs per month. All right. Now, let's go back here. On the display, as far as the screen goes, there's another spot to turn it off. I showed you how to do that earlier over here. Lighting. Do you want it based on time and ambient light? If you do, that's really the best setting, because what it'll do is it'll make the screen brighter during the day and dimmer during the night. For filming purposes, I have turned it to nighttime dark. It's just easier to see. Okay? You can manually control the brightness and the contrast. Now, in terms of what it does for the camera, you've got brightness and contrast here as well. All right, let's go back here. We've already done sound and media, but we didn't get down a little bit lower here on this side. So your phone is going to ring when it's connected to the vehicle. How loud do you want that ringtone? Okay. A new message. How it's going to announce it. How loud? Received volume. Okay. When you're talking to somebody, how loud are they? Right. Your voice assistant. Okay. Shh. How loud? And then driving assist. How loud are those beeps? So you've got a lot of control over different things in the car that all are, you can adjust their volume. All right. So that's what I want to show you right there. Under voice and search, you can turn the Hey Toyota off. And now you just use the voice command button. Okay. If you don't like the voice prompt, you can turn that off and it will just beep at you instead. Like, I prefer having that on, and I prefer having that on because then I don't have to think about the button. All right. Under the vehicle area, you got lights. This has auto high beams, okay? It also has auto on. So what I love about this is that if you have a car with auto lights, sometimes they come on like way too late. Like mine come on like when it's pitch black. And I'd like them to come on earlier, but I can't adjust any of that on my vehicle. So here you go in and say, well, I want it much brighter out when the lights come on. And it will. If that's too early, well, maybe normal, but you can find it there. Or if you say, I really don't want it coming on until it's really dark, well, then leave it there. When you get out of your car and you shut it off, the lights are on and you walk away, how long do your headlights stay on? You can go 90 seconds to off. You just click the one that you want. Daytime running lights, you can click those off here, but honestly, I would leave those on. It's nice to see people's lights when they're driving. I will make one plug. If you're driving in inclement weather, please turn your lights all the way on. Daytime running lights do not, they're not as bright as your headlights. Two, they don't turn on your tail lights. So people following you in fog or a snowstorm can't see you. So just because you have those on doesn't mean you don't need to, you need to turn your lights on if it's not dark enough for them to come on so other people can see you. Please and thank you. All right. Also, you get insurance discount for having daytime running lights and most companies. So check with your insurance company if you have never seen that before. All right. Interior lights. And you open the door and close it, light stays on. How much, you can have 30 seconds to 7.5 to off. All right. Illumination. Okay. How bright are things? Door control. Is it going to auto lock when I shift from park or at about 5 miles an hour? Or nope, I'm going to lock the doors manually myself. Okay, you can decide when that does. Also, unlock when I shift to park. Okay, also all my doors open, but it'll do it automatically. Or do you want to set it by the driver's door? I'll tell you what I do. I leave mine by the driver's door. So if I open my driver's door, everyone's doors unlock. And if I shift from park, it automatically locks. But you set that up the way you want. Now, wireless electronic key. This is your remote. To press to unlock. So the first lock unlocks a driver's door. The second lock unlocks everybody's. If you don't want that, turn that off. Lock when door opened. Okay? So if you open the door, it automatically locks it. Okay? So that can be helpful and it can be a pain. You'll have to decide for yourself. Okay, smart access door. That's the sensor on the door handle itself. If you press that on the driver door, or do you want all doors to be able to unlock? And I'll tell you what, I've got a car that has it on all doors, and I really like it. As long as you have your key fob with you, you can grab any handle and open up that door. But you can set it to driver door only. Climate. As far as the heated steering wheel goes, if you find like, it's turning off too early because because they time. Here you can actually go in and say, I want it to stay heated for a little bit longer, or I want it to stay heated for as long as it can, or you know what, that's just too hot. Well, let it go for less time then. This is where you're going to make that time adjustment for the heated steering wheel. AC mode with auto. As soon as you turn on AC, it's automatically in auto mode. If you don't like that, turn that off. That's about the end of that list there. Now, I do want to show you the backup camera. So, if I just put it in reverse, okay. Now, if I go here, I can add guidelines. That's a warning light. That's like literally like an inch from your bumper. So, okay, so it's a dynamic swivel. This is like a hitch guide. The yellow lines are your front tires. The blue lines, I believe, are your back tires there. This is a static one. It doesn't move at all, but it gives you a nice little X. You can put that right over the spot where you need to go. And then you can be back to this view. Okay. The resolution is quite good. Okay. Now, if I tap on it, you notice I get a little bigger picture. I personally like this picture better, but well, that's it, folks, for the driver screen and the infotainment screen on the all-new redesigned 2025 Toyota Camry. And again, this is the XSE trim level. We hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.